Look at your neighbor and say, let's talk about Adam for a little bit. Now, ladies, don't y'all get loud on Adam and y'all went loud on Eve now. He too is not born, but created grown. But he is immediately given specific instructions. In Genesis 1:26, God created him and gave him dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, over the cattle, of all the earth, all the creeping things upon the earth. He get the opportunity to name the land animals, to name the birds and insects and everything. And after God even presented Eve to him, he called her woman.
That's right. That's right.
That was Adam. Somebody said that was all Adam. But all of this authority comes with instruction. Genesis 3:3, God says, you have this whole garden, but don't eat of this tree and don't touch it lest you die. I hope y'all hear what I'm saying. It is in this moment that Adam, after sin, would introduce to every man at least 4 things they have to grow out of and grow with. I hope y'all hearing me. Men, don't get quiet like the ladies did. Because I know y'all don't mind. Y'all can take it like, hey, that's right. Especially if you pass these. If you ain't passed them, then we praying for you too. First one is passivity,
Yes, sir.
shame, excuses, and labor.
Yes, sir.
Say them after me. Passivity, shame, excuses, and labor. Oh, I love teaching. It's just fun to teach. Passivity. Let's start with that. This is a tameness or a submissiveness, an attitude of compliance that should be only relegated to those with proper authority and relationship to have it. This authority should be given to someone who is excited about your potential and has your best interest in mind and your purpose in view. Adam seemed not to have the strength to tell Eve no. Even when he knew she was wrong with God and with him. Somebody said that's an issue right there. He didn't have the strength to say no. He treated it light. He just went along with it. Let me just talk to you, man. Stop just going along with it. If God gives you something for your life, for your household, for those under your charge, your obligation is to stand up, not to lay down. You can't be too passive. Where you get that from? Genesis 3, 6, and 7. Let me read it. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise. And she took of the fruit thereof and did eat. And look at this, and gave also to her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of both of them were open, and they knew that they were naked, and sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. Here he goes. Passivity then led to his second thing, shame. Somebody say shame. You see, this is what another trait that Adam passed along. Shame. This is an open door for embarrassment, disgrace, and being humiliated. Genesis 2:25. Look at this parallel. Genesis 2:25 says, and they both were naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. That's how God put them in the garden. They were both naked and not ashamed. They both were naked and not ashamed. They both were naked and not ashamed. The scripture says, and they both were naked and not ashamed. Oh, it's in the Bible, June 2:25, Genesis. They both were naked and not ashamed. But by the time you get to Genesis 3:9, and the Lord called out to Adam right after he and Eve had that little situation and said, Adam, where art thou? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden.
Yes, sir.
And I was afraid. Why? Because I was naked. And I hid myself.
Yes, sir.
And God said to him, who told you you were naked? Did you eat of the tree that I commanded you shouldn't eat of? You see, when you don't want to take the blame for what you're ashamed of, you innately do the very next thing here. You not only accept shame, but you do the next one, you start making excuses.
Yes, sir. Come on, son. Come on.
Adam is the first person to open excuses up to humanity.
Yes, he is.
Look at your name and say, excuses. Y'all, the brothers, y'all starting to shut up now. I need y'all to keep talking. Keep on talking because, see, I need you to understand what you're made of because that's how you can get over it and get to where you need to get. Look at somebody and say, stop making excuses. Go and look up. Did you do what you said you was going to do? You know, I had to. No, stop making excuses. Man up, do what you say what you're going to do, be who you say you are. Stop going back and forth. Stop making excuses. Isn't it interesting that we don't have to teach our little boys how to make excuses?
No, sir. No, sir.
They just roll off of their tongue when they think they're in trouble.
Yes, sir.
Come here, boy. I didn't do it. It was I don't know how. I wasn't even in there. I wasn't even a part of it. Why? Why? Because that's that Adam in you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You have to grow out of it. Look at somebody. Look at another brother. And say, we have to grow out of that. We got to grow out of that. He passes to men the instinct to make excuses. And what does he do in the 12th verse of the third chapter? The first thing he says, the woman, after God confronts him, come on, you a man now. I gave you the authority. You done named all the animals. You done looked up in the air. You even named the woman that I gave you. You got all this authority. And the second I ask you, did you eat from that tree? The very next thing you say, and he is removed from the garden. And his newest habit would not just to be to dress and to keep it, but now his possessions must now be received through labor to get, to have, and to maintain them. That's his fourth one. Genesis 3:23. Therefore the Lord sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, angels, with a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life, so they couldn't get back to it. They couldn't see it. God sent him out to work for his living from the very dirt he was pulled and made from. In short, to be successful in life, he has to always get over his own dirt to succeed.
Good.
That's a good hint for somebody stepping into a relationship. If he ain't willing to get dirty for you, he too prissy for you.
Come on, man. Yes, sir.
I'll drink to that. My time is up. I'll have to finish. My time is up. I'm sorry.
10 more minutes. 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes. Come on.
I would just close by telling you increase is coming to your life. But the only way it happens is that you have to work together. Put your hands together. Thank God. Tell your neighbor, don't miss the rest of this message. Look at them and say, don't miss the rest of this message. Because I do want to tell you something about him and how he was created and what happened with him and the essence of how she got to be here, which will clear up some issues about how she got a chance to be here, because most people don't think of it and understand it this way, that before God put him to sleep, she was in him.
That's right, sir.
God had to pull her out of him and then introduce him to her.
That's right.
We'll talk about what that means. What that means, because that's a whole message by itself. Yeah, that she comes from him. This is why when you look in the Bible and it talks about marriage, it does not tell in Ephesians the man to love his wife. His obligation is really, that he has to be in a posture where he takes care of her. He has to have a heart to make sure he manages her life. The scripture tells her to love her husband with the anticipation that once she's been introduced to him, he knows he's got to take care of her. That's why you never want anybody who won't take care of you.